Right, yay!
CURT and Jen, the podcast, the video cast. Thanks for being here and joining us. Yes, Friday.
And let's not forget it's Mother's Day weekend.
More importantly, why is my hair flat? You know?
Oh, because you forgot to do it before we hit record?
No, because, well, we were in a rush this morning, but also because I was at an event last night and I took my little hair gel with me to the event and it's still down in my truck and I'm too lazy to go and get it. So
what event did you do, Kurt Cruz?
It was a fundraiser for Seattle executives. And
that sounds very muy importante.
Yeah, well, you can say that. They are, not me. So anyway.
You know what else it is this weekend?
What's that?
Besides Mother's Day, my youngest daughter Macey's 16th birthday, sweet 16.
That's right. Okay. I was just doing the math in my head and working the numbers. You are correct. It is her 16th birthday.
I'm going through a little, I don't know what you call it, but many moms have gone through this, many parents, I believe. Just how much time I'm going to not have with her anymore now that she's going to be able to drive beginning Wednesday. I mean, she could technically, well, no, that's not true. She can't get her license until Wednesday because of things happening and the Department of Licensing is closed on Mondays. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. What's coming up in the show?
Well, you said, of course, you said it was Mother's Day. We'll have some Mother's Day stuff, including the worst month to be a parent. There's a worst month, I guess.
And how much we're spending on mom and Mother's Day guilt. And then there's also things you say wrong on purpose, plus Fun Facts Friday and what's happening around the PNW this weekend. But first.
Oh, that's when I hit this, right?
Oh,
Give you a chance to sneeze.
We should have some Popey music.
I don't have any Popey music, sorry.
Well, we have a new Pope. And
looking through my Billboard top hits lists to see how many Pope songs have been in the top 100, Hot 100. That's too bad. All right. Yes, we have a new Pope. And I actually looked up something because I thought this would be a question you might have, and I had as well. The Pope that they've chosen is actually, his name is Robert Francis Prevost.
Prevost, maybe? He's going to go by Leo the 14th.
Mm-hmm. Do you know why and how they choose their names?
I do that. It's to honor one of the past popes and to reflect their what their intentions will be.
Yes. So they get to pick a name, and he went with Leo. He's the 14th Leo, I guess, because he's Leo the 14th.
Yeah, I dug deep yesterday after they announced the Pope because I had so many questions. You know me. So I just started Googling all kinds of things like, do you have to be a cardinal before or to become a Pope? No, you do not. Why do they change their name? Like so many things I was Googling.
You went down the proverbial Pope, the papal rabbit hole, I guess.
I mean, the big thing about this whole deal, I mean, besides we have a new Pope in the world, is that he's the first American-born Pope.
Yep. There we go.
From Chicago.
He's a Midwest guy. And now he's Pope.
And he roots for, I think that there was this big thing he roots for, gosh, where is it? I read this somewhere. Does he, because Chicago has the
Cubs and the White Sox, yeah.
He roots for the White Sox.
Yeah, he and his brother his brother John grew up rooting for the Sox, so he is a White Sox fan, and that's a distinction in Chicago.
He has two brothers.
Okay, his brother John.
I don't know the other one. I'm just saying he has two brothers.
Okay,
that's what I know.
I'm sure we'll find out more as we get to know Pope Leo even more.
The first Pope to come from an English-speaking country in almost 900 years. I mean, I just loved all the tradition around this whole thing when the Pope was announced, and even how they vote him in and all the things, Kurt Cruz, that is all.
And well, people that are wondering what's, how he's going to lead the church, what direction he may head in. Apparently he was buddies with Pope Francis.
Yes.
Who just passed. So experts think he will be somewhat progressive as a Pope. Time will tell on that one as well. But congratulations there, Leo. If I see it, it's like, hey, Leo.
It's Leo the 14th to you, please.
That's true.
Pope Leo the 14th.
This is some good news.
It is?
Things that foreigners actually like about Americans?
Yeah, but have you read the list?
Yes, but the fact that there are things that foreigners like about Americans at all, I think is good news.
Oh my
I
God.
think that a lot of these are cliches. This is actually there is on the social medias. Someone found this that they scoured and they found things that foreigners like about Americans, and they came up with this list. Some of it's a little cliched, but I was surprised by some of these, and some of these I'm like, yeah, we really we're pretty cool as Americans. Like this one person said, basically, I love how Americans say coffee is coffee. Is that supposed to be like a Southern accent?
Coffee.
Coffee,
Coffee.
coffee,
I love how
and
Americans make salad where the primary ingredient is pasta.
when Americans, I love it when Americans say, I got you because I do feel genuinely reassured.
Okay.
That might be different now.
Another person said one of my favorites is that they'll often say question before asking a question. We have to do that.
Another person said, I love it when Americans say period to finish a sentence. How about this one says, when Americans pronounce duty like duty, which we all do because we're lazy and we don't enunciate duty. It is my duty.
My favorite thing about Americans is their extreme disgust for line cutters.
Is line cutting okay in other countries?
No, well, I mean, maybe, but dang, not here. Don't do it.
I love how Americans named Jen Pirak decorate for every season. That was not the exact quote, but you get it. I love when Americans say whoop de whoop.
Whoop de whoop. I don't ever say that.
Well,
Whoop de whoop. I want
foreigners
to.
love it when you do that. So
I
maybe
kind
work on that.
I kind of like it. I love how Americans greet each other by saying "How you doing?" and then not answering back. How you doing? I answer back though. If someone says "How you doing?" I'm like, "Good. How are you?"
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah, real quick. But then we have those conditioned responses where we just blurt something out, like you drop your friend off at the airport and you say, "Have a nice trip," and they go, "You too." Yeah, you're not going on a trip.
Back home, you are.
Back to your house, exactly. All right. Love that there's some things that people like about us still. What's this one?
Is May the worst month of the year to be a parent? That is the question.
May. Okay.
What is the hardest time of the year to be a parent? Is it summer because your kids aren't in school, or maybe it's the chaos of Christmas? According to a new poll, the hardest time of the year for a lot of parents is actually right now. It's the lead up to summer. 1/3 said the end of the school year is harder on them than back to school season is, and around 40% said the same about spring, fall, and winter break. Okay.
So it's only maybe 7% more difficult because it's 33% versus 40.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, but still, it's more difficult or
One
most
third said
difficult.
the end of the school year is harder on them than back to school is. Oh, I already did that part. It's partly thanks to the summer plans that have to be made. That's true. Like if you have younger kids that are in childcare, you have to start in March really planning summer camps because they fill up so quickly.
And this is something I've not had to do because I don't have any children. But when I hear, I'll talk to my friends that have kids that are like, say, I don't know, 12 and 8 and 6. And it's like, what are you guys doing this weekend? Oh, I got karate and I've got this and I got this sport. And that's just like on Friday. Saturday, it's like 10 other things. So hats off to the parents taking care of all that stuff.
And you want to know the other part of it too is there's also a lot of kids obviously graduating this time of year. So the people with the younger kids are dealing with the what am I going to do with the kids this summer? And the other parents are like, oh my God, I'm losing my child to life, right?
Right.
They're flying off from the nest, and this is the last summer I have with them. So that can be difficult too. So there you go.
Just because she's 16, she's not going to fly from the nest.
Oh, well, I will see far less of her CURT cruise once she has her license.
That is obviously on your mind. That's which is, it's happy, sad, right?
It is happy. It's exactly how it's supposed to be, but it's just, there's a little part. It's getting ready for when they fly out of the nest completely. It's all part of the big universal plan.
Macey.
Little Macey. Okay.
I just think about this. She's on the road driving right now.
Okay, moving on. She's a great driver, actually.
She is a good driver.
Yes.
No cliche.
I want to tell you this little story, Kurt. I don't know if you've already read this.
No.
There was a mom convicted of harassment for what she did on a TikTok video to her kid. So do you remember? I don't know if you've seen it. I actually had just shown Pat this, and it's a funny video. But parents have the camera going, and they're making something with their kids, and kids are excited to bake. So they're baking together, and it's time to crack the egg to add to the bowl, and they crack it on their kid's head, and the kids are like, and the whole thing about it is the kids' reaction. How do the kids react? It's so different,
Right?
Child to child. But someone saw this in Sweden, and they said, I'm going after this mom. And so a lawyer picked it up, the whole thing up, and said, we're going to do something with this. This
So
girl is young.
just because the mom cracked an egg on the kid's forehead is a joke?
Yeah, and she was convicted she was ordered to pay her daughter $2,000 in damages for posting a video of herself cracking an egg on the girl's head. The girl is young. She wasn't the one who made the complaint. It was someone else. And the prosecutor picked it up, ran with it, argued to the judge that it wasn't fun and that it was cruel. She said, you simply don't do that to a child. To record and humiliate the child and then broadcast it to thousands of viewers, I find that incredibly degrading, and it's a reckless act. And the judge agreed.
I see, because I was thinking, yeah, this, the mother says it was just a harmless prank, which may be, but then,
but at the expense of the embarrassment of the child.
Right. But for potentially the rest of their life. So, and I was going to say, well, you can ask the kid if they're okay with it, but you can't even do that. You have to have some foresight and say, this is not cool.
Well, yeah. And if you were an adult and someone did something like that to you, that could be, I don't know. There is a lot of stuff that at someone else's expense to get a laugh and post it on social media these days. And maybe this is just a good little lesson.
Right.
You know what? Maybe be more mindful and post kinder things.
Right. Well, whether you question or not,
the videos that they have are freaking hilarious.
Yes. And unfortunately, that's why they keep putting them up, is because we keep watching them, right?
Right.
We're bad.
I know.
All right. We were talking about this the other day. What's the best example of something you'd say, you know what, I say it wrong on purpose? And you do. You know better, but you still say something wrong on purpose. The examples we have from today is people that might say, someone said that they call Google the Google, or I'll give it a Goog before searching, just to annoy their kids.
Oh, my God.
They say deers if they see more than one deer. Okay, so that's what we're asking here. The best example, things that you say, I say it wrong on purpose. And I think I told you ours. Dana and I say, because it annoys us. Oh, yeah, I seen that. I seen that movie.
I seen it.
I also seen a bunch of other movies. So, yeah, I seen this one. And, of course, the old, what did I tell you? The classic one was, now I think, it was, I lost it. Sorry, but I'll think of it before we're done here.
Well, here's what you weighed in with as one of the viewers / listeners of the CURT Jen podcast. Becky said we had an S to words like Costco or Safeway, so it's the Costco's and Safeways. We're going.
I like that. Mary says I removed the S from Starbucks. Hey, I'm going to go to Starbucks. You know what? And that's funny. It would drive people crazy. It's Starbucks.
Emily said espresso. That's a common one, I feel like.
Corey talks about her husband. Eric likes to say woof for wolf and Tucson instead of Tucson.
She said drives me nuts. I always want to say what would this be?
Yosemite instead of Yosemite.
Oh, okay. I have to really work at not sounding like a dork when I read aloud that word. Okay. James said no bot a doubt it instead of no doubt about it.
It's no bout a doubt it.
No bout a doubt it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. That's hard to say, kinda.
Pumpkin pie. That's PUNKIN pie, says Kim. And again, things that people say that they say wrong on purpose is Urethra Franklin.
Yeah.
Worder birder, a water bottle. That's like a baby would say it, right?
Worder birder.
That would make me nuts too.
A worder birder.
And baked potato, I guess, is baked potato.
Baked potato. Jason said instead of saying Dr. Pepper, he says Dr. Pecker. That is such a guy thing.
You would do it. Arnar. Brian says, oh no, with an Australian accent. How would that be?
Arnar.
Australian, Arnar.
Arnar. Your sister Terry weighed in, Kurt.
Oh, was supposedly instead of supposedly, yes. Thanks, Terry. I say supposedly too. Is this one? I say Derbis instead of Deb. I say Derby instead of debris. Or is this supposed to be? I say Debris instead of debris.
Derbis instead of debris as a playful homage to my late father who never got that word right. Oh, that's cute.
That's true. I'm going to say it's probably Debris. Jenny says helpish. That was like, can you help? I can help-ish.
And then Todd said, you meant what I knew instead of you knew what I meant.
Right. We got Susie saying, I knowed it. I knowed it. I think that's funny. Not notes, Note, like I knew it. I knowed it.
Oh, and I
And
also
then
do this one.
home.
I'm going to the Home Depot.
That's right. And then library. And I like that she put, it's good to know that others do this for entertainment. Yes.
Right? I'm going to the library.
I've never heard you meant what I knew before, but I think that's funny.
That's kind of, that is, I mean, because it even is, I mean, it kind of makes sense too.
Mm-hmm.
Meant what I do. I can't remember that. Okay, so in honor of Mother's Day, we're gonna do some Mother's Day stories.
Okay.
The first one is, what parent was most involved in our day growing up? Like day to day, who was the most involved parent?
Would you say, I would say it was my mom, but mostly because my dad, his job involved a lot of travel when we were young. So,
Well, my mom, because my parents were divorced and I lived with my mom.
okay.
Well, and that goes to with the story. Every family dynamic is unique, but if you're celebrating a mom this weekend, you put some thought into who was the most involved. And of course, there was a poll done because there's polls for everything. And people were asked about their family life growing up. And people who had a mother and father at home, 52% said their mother was more involved in their daily activities. 32% both parents equally, and 7% said it was mainly their father.
I guess, you know, and unfortunately, I think there was a bit of a stigma, depending on when you were growing up, not so much anymore, but as you go back through time, it was like, nope, the mother stays home and raises the kids, and the dad works and works and works. So, that has changed, though. I'm pretty sure. We also have, as far as housework goes, is this a surprise? 7 in 10 people said their mother was most involved in the housework.
Well, that's not a surprise. I feel like
You're like, meh.
one and what is this? 44% said that they were closer to their mother. 36% said they were equally close to both parents, and 14% said they were tighter with their father. More people said their mom helped them with their homework.
Yeah, and about a fourth of people said they turned to their mother more for advice. And then about 30% said both parents equally. So okay. I mean, I think that the advice thing depends on what you're asking about. There are things that I go to my dad to ask about, and things I go to my mom to ask about.
Only 57% of people plan to do something to celebrate Mother's Day. Why?
Okay.
Why is that?
I don't know. That's like 6 in 10 peeps, give or take.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
It's just another bump song. Let's hear about your Mother's Day guilt, Jen, or do you have Mother's Day guilt?
Well, it's just really about how often do you call your mom, and do you feel like it's enough? And 1 in 5 people say they don't call mom as much as they should. The average is about once a week. I feel like that's about good. I call my mom about once a week. I know that you have lost your mom, Kurt, but when she was here, did you call her pretty often?
No, that's a bit of a regret. Not, you look back, but it was, you're like all of us, you get busy with life and things. And then, but I want to say, I don't know if it's a benefit, but after my mom passed, now we make sure that we all talk to each other much, much, much more often. So that's good. Yeah. What about you? Well, your mom is not passed. How often did you say how often you talk to her?
I probably talk to her about once a week.
Okay.
And I probably see her maybe twice a month on average, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
No, it's probably about twice a month I see her, but I talk to her about once a week. Yeah.
Do you feel guilty about that?
No, I think that that's fine. She's busy. She's busy too. She's living her own life. She's retired. She's living her best life.
You going to do a shout out to Kim?
My mom, Kim. Yeah, she's an awesome mom. I love her so much. She's out of town right now. She's coming back in time for Mother's Day.
We actually have, and some of the things here that we have about you're going to get your mom what you're going to get your mom for Mother's Day, but as always, there are people that have suggestions. But I think this is great because it was what moms were asked. What is it?
Okay.
What do you want?
What'd they say?
Well, the top ways to show your mom that they're appreciated is just spending more time with her or just saying I love you.
Yep,
This is
that's true.
specifically for Mother's Day, but on Mother's
Time.
Day, massages are a good gift. But moms were asked, "What's the perfect self-care day?" That would include what it would include, and that a massage was only ranking fifth on that. Sleep in is number one on the list.
That's great. Then getting her hair done, having someone else cook, listening to music, and getting a massage, which was where the fifth thing comes in.
Okay, fantastic. Going for and getting your nails done is in the top 10.
Going for a walk, reading, catching up on TV, and taking a nice long bath.
Seems like, yeah, moms want to relax when they get the chance, which they never get.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a great gift, but spending time is for me. I'm like, just spend time with me. I'm so excited I get to spend time with my girls on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay.
Both of
We'll
them.
ask you what you're doing a little bit later in the show, right?
Yeah.
Too soon for the reveal.
Oh. This blew my
Real
mind.
quick.
Kurt.
What's that?
This blew my mind.
I'm sorry?
This statistic blew my mind.
Oh, yes.
What are we spending on Mother's Day?
Well, overall, we'll get to that in a second. So this is including all things you can do with your mom, maybe just buy a gift, but also, send her to, I mean, I guess those all count as gifts. But if you add it up, we're going to spend about $34 billion on Mother's Day.
Versus just doing a quick dinner for her, giving her hugs and letting her have a nap, which is what really she wants.
Not to sound like we're being cheap here, but if that's what she wants, that's what we're going to give.
We're going to just try to buy ourselves out of the guilt we have for not spending enough time with her or calling her enough. So what's the deal?
Well, it sounds like a lot of money. It is a lot of money, 34 billion, but that breaks down, just so you know, no pressure here, but that breaks down to each person. People are going to plan on spending $260 on Mother's Day gifts and celebrations.
Okay. Now that's probably about right once you put the food. I mean, once you start buying, food's expensive right now. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna go to Costco and buy a bunch of stuff to make a brunch because now I'm telling you, I'm hosting Mother's Day brunch at my house on Sunday.
Nice.
And probably by the time I get everything purchased, it's gonna be at least $200. And I bought my mom I already gave her she wanted a begonia, a big flowering begonia from Costco. And once they're at Costco, you got to get them because they sell out quick. So
I'm not challenging you here, but so $200 on stuff to make breakfast. I thought this was going to be because you went to like a nice dinner or something like that.
No, but
all right.
Well, I mean, maybe it won't be that much because it's a little bit smaller of a brunch that I'm doing this time, but at least $150.
Okay.
Bacon, sausage, eggs, French toast, juice, fruit.
Well, I know that Dana, we're having my mother-in-law, her mom, over for brunch on Sunday, and I don't know that we're going to spend that much, but I'll let you know. We'll keep receipts. How's that?
How many are there of you? Just 3?
Yeah.
I think there's going to be 8 of us total.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that makes a difference then for sure.
10 people.
Are we here for Fun Facts Friday or not?
Yes, we are. We're already here. It's already that time of the show. Fun Fact Friday. Yes, here we go. I don't like this. Roughly 4.5 trillion cigarette butts are littered every year, making them the most littered item on the planet. That's a bad fun fact.
I got nothing to say about that. We'll see if the other ones are more fun, right?
They're not. The next one. Go ahead.
Mosquitoes have killed more people than all of the wars in history combined. Okay, let's keep going, Jen.
That's about 2 pounds of chromosomal. Is that right? Chromosomal?
Yep. DNA in your body. What does that mean?
There's 2 pounds of it. Like there's 2 pounds you don't want to lose of your body.
Okay.
Don't lose that. You want to lose 2 more pounds. Think of it like, oh, maybe I shouldn't because it's the DNA in my body.
That's not how it works. All right. Only 17 state capitals are the largest cities in their states. That's good to know.
It's impossible to poison a possum. They produce a protein that basically neutralizes any poison that enters their body, and scientists are trying to use it to build a universal like antidote for that.
How about that?
For people. I know.
Good,
Isn't
for
that
the
kind
good.
of cool? See, Fun Fact Friday, you wouldn't know that unless you were listening and knew, and we had this little feature. Keep going.
During the Cold War, the government briefly considered a plan to mark a bunch of extra large condoms as medium and airdrop them in the Soviet Union to make the men there think that they were. Mwah, mwah.
I mean, that's kind of funny.
That's pretty hilarious. I'm sorry.
The
But they
first
put this on. This is medium? What? I can't even feel medium?
the first live sporting event broadcast on ESPN ever in the existence of ESPN was a professional softball game in 1979 between the Kentucky Bourbons and Milwaukee Schlitz.
Yes, the beer and the softball team are named the same thing. Penguin poop immense laughing gas.
I mean, come on.
So, I mean, is it enough that if you go by and just smell some penguin poop, you're going to laugh? Or you're going to get a little.
Who knew? You produced enough saliva every day to fill a wine bottle and enough over the course of your lifetime to fill up 53 bathtubs.
By the way, one of the things that foreigners said that they like about Americans, one of the things that I saw was Americans use football fields as a unit of measure. And like right here, you're like, that's 53 bathtubs full of spit.
I don't know how many football fields it is, but it's 53 bathtubs.
The surface area of the 5 Great Lakes combined is roughly the same size as the entire United Kingdom. Okay.
And Kurt, if you want to avoid going bald, all you need to do is get castrated.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So as long as you have your testes removed before you start going bald, you will not lose your hair. But if you get them removed after you start losing hair, you won't grow back what you lost.
So you're going to walk into the surgeon and say, hey, just as a preventative measure, lop them off.
You're welcome.
I don't like that idea at all.
Yeah, and now you know.
All right. Stuff going on around Seattle this weekend. We have some movies opening. This is Juliet and Romeo. I wonder if there's anything different about the story. Or it's just Romeo and Juliet reversed.
Juliet and Romeo, it's
an upbeat musical version of the Shakespeare classic. Okay.
Yeah, but I like that Rupert Everett and Rebel Wilson play Juliet's parents. And Jason Isaacs, I don't know who Jason Isaacs is Lord
Montague. Montague?
Okay, well, we better brush up on our English literature.
I don't know why you went there. I don't want to brush up on my English.
Shadow Force is rated R. That's opening with Kerry Washington and Omar Sy. And then Fight or Flight, also rated R. Jason Harnett plays a mercenary sent by Katie Skack. I don't even know these people. I feel lame, Kurt.
That's all right. Well, it's Josh Hartnett, and he was. I recognize the name, and I would recognize him if I saw him. I don't know who Katie Sackhoff is. Yeah, but they're in Fight or Flight.
They're trying to track down and protect a high value asset known only as a ghost aboard an international flight.
You're still asleep, aren't you?
Kind of.
Me too.
I'm kind of tired.
All right, happening around the PNW. That should get its own little bumper music, I suppose. Why don't you talk about Six?
Oh, well, Six, the musical, which is about King Henry and his 6 wives, is playing at the Paramount Theater through Sunday. And if you have the opportunity to see it, it is a little bit of herstory.
All right. Mariners, the Seattle Mariners over the weekend started a 3-game homestand against the Blue Jays. That starts today. So I guess the other two games would be tomorrow and Sunday. Yes, that's what's happening.
That's how that works. Beat the Bridge. We used to sponsor this when we worked at the radio station long ago. Happens tomorrow morning in the U District. Includes an 8K run, a 3-mile walk, a 1-mile fun run. It begins at Montlake Boulevard, crosses over the University Bridge, and ends at the Husky Stadium field. But this is what you need to know if you want to go to the U District. The Montlake Bridge closes at 7:45 for almost 2 hours.
So between basically 7:45 and 9 o'clock, Montlake Bridge is going to be closed tomorrow. Did you know, Jen, when you want to emphasize something, you get really close to the camera?
10 o'clock. When I do what?
You get really, I love it. You're like, okay, this is important. Here I come.
This is important.
All right. Washington State Toy Show is going on tomorrow at the Washington State Fair, at the Fair Center in Puyallup. All kinds of great toys with that. And what's this? Tell me about the Penn Cove Water Festival.
Oh, it's in quaint little Cooperville. It has like tribal canoe races, native arts and crafts, food, dance, music. I mean, it's going to be fun. And it's happening tomorrow only in Coopville. And then tomorrow and Sunday, shop. I love this. Shop for Mother's Day flowers during Flower Festival. 35 local farmers are selling bouquets and musicians are performing under the clock, all at the Pike Place Market.
Yeah. My weekend. Well, first of all, I want to say thanks and hello because they listen to the podcast a lot. Last night at the fundraiser for the Bellevue, for the Seattle executives, our friends Gerald and Alma and James.
Oh, they were there?
Yeah, they own Jags Detail and Tukwila, so got to say hello to them. James is still a Spitfire like he was last time we saw him.
He's smart though. Wicked smart.
And then the rest of the weekend, hopefully nothing, but we've got the puppies that we're fostering, so it'll be a busy weekend. We don't have anything planned
except for brunch
on Sunday. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, we do have Mother's Day brunch. That'll be right here.
Okay,
at the house.
Well, good, Kurt. Maybe you can come to happy hour tonight at the Alls.
That's possible.
Bring the puppies. Can the puppies come out?
No. What are you doing for the weekend? I don't want to get into it. They don't travel well. They throw up in the car.
Oh.
So, all right. We'll cross that bridge at some point. That's not going to be tonight.
All right. I think I'm going to do happy hour tonight because, our friend Randy, his dad is in town. So I'm going to go give him a big hug. Sunday is pretty packed because I want to, and I cannot wait to celebrate Macey's 16th birthday. So I'm going to do a little something in the morning, a little something after the brunch, and then I'm hosting the Mother's Day brunch. Macy didn't want to celebrate her birthday because it's Mother's Day and she needs her own day. So we'll do a little something to celebrate, but then we'll do a family dinner on another day and she'll do a friend's birthday another day. It'll be like a month-long celebration, as it should be.
That's a bonus then for everybody, right?
Yeah.
We call that a win-win, I believe, is the thing. All right.
I love this question, by the way.
Well, and the way it was phrased, you're like, how about this? What's your free candy?
And you're like, what? What does that mean? Let me tell you the story. So there was a story about a woman who posted a video explaining that she has a bumper sticker on her car that says, "We'll stop for baby goats." Then a guy pulls up next to her on the road and says, "Hey, I actually have baby goats with me." So she follows him to his workplace, and sure enough, he had baby goats in the car, and she said it was the best day ever. She got to play with the goats. So she was willing to possibly be kidnapped and trafficked for the chance to hang out with some baby goats. So that's why we are asking, what's your free candy? What would you get in the white van for if someone offered it to you?
Let me just jump in here real quick and say the CURT and Jen in the Morning podcast does not condone getting into vehicles with strangers, blah, 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 blah. Any chance you might be kidnapped or otherwise hurt, we do not condone that.
Is this a good question or not?
I think it's a great question. It's just, basically you're saying what is something you cannot resist, or you would put yourself in danger and you don't even care. That's what you would do that to get it.
Yeah.
I got to think about that one.
I do too. Glassy babies.
I tried to bid on those. Those one of the things last night at Seattle Execs fundraiser. They had a 3 Glassy Babies pack, and I was given permission to go up to $150, and it went for more than that.
Well, the value is more than that because even if it was just the low value Glassy Babies, they're $60 each.
Yep. We didn't want them that bad, that badly.
I guess not. Okay. It's Mother's Day weekend. Please be sure that if you're lucky enough to have your mom in this world, celebrate her in some way. If you can't be with her, call her. Let her know how important she is to you and how much you love her, because she will appreciate that. Write a little note to her.
Go moms.
Yeah. We love the moms.
We do.
And make some memories with her if you can. Like, if you can be with her, go make some memories.
How about like good choices?
Yeah, well, make good memories, but also make good choices, find joy, spread kindness, and laugh.
And laugh.
It's good for your soul. Have a great weekend. We'll be back Monday with a new episode. Have a good one.